Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And I'm here with this week, October 12th through the 19th, 2020, with your Pick an Angel card reading spread. I'm going to do 5 spreads today, and you're going to allow your intuition to lead you as to which spread will be the most appropriate or most influential for you this week. And if for some reason you want to pick more than one, go ahead and help yourself. There's really no reason why you can't look to see what other spreads may say, because this is angelic advice versus predictions. All right, so we're going to start with reading number 1. And while I'm shuffling, I'm going to say that the first position represents the foundational position. It's the energy with which this week is starting off on. The second is the opportunity and or the obstacle. The third is the angel's advice for getting around the obstacle or taking advantage of the opportunity. And the final card will be the potential outcome for the week. I have also pulled Kyle Gray cards. That's the Angel and Ancestors deck from Kyle Gray. So we'll have a bonus card for each one of the readings. So our first angel is Fiona. The second angel is Teresa. The third is Serena. And the fourth is Patience. I use 2 decks. The first is Doreen Virtue's Messages from Your Angels, and the second is, I believe it's called The Legend of Avalon by Colette Baron Reed. Just knocking out some old energy. All right. Fiona is being joined by the Love card. Teresa's being joined by the Swan. Serena's being joined by the High Priestess. And Patience is being joined by the Butterfly card. So for those of you that picked card reading number 1, love is in the air. And I'm going to just jump to my Kyle Gray card because it is, I pulled them ahead of time. And those of you that picked card reading number 1 pulled the Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. So we'll expand on that in a minute. But in the foundational position, we have the Love card and we have Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. You deserve God and the angels' help. I want to say that this is in love in a way that it feels more interpersonal. So while there may be dynamics involved with family love, it feels like intimate love and it feels like tribal love. And when I say tribal love, I mean the love of friends that know you, that see you, that you can be your authentic self with, that you feel, even though there may not be any DNA involved in the relationship, in some ways this feels even more intense and more connected, almost like a soul level. So those are the relationships I'm talking about. Whether you're experiencing them or not, now is a time to turn over what you're looking for in love to God and the angels. Because in many ways, those of you that picked angel reading number 1, you have been worrying way too much about what other people think, about what other people are saying. I don't know if it's about your age, if it's about your dynamic financially, whatever holes you may feel, somehow you're worrying about other people's opinions, and it's time to sort of trust an inner knowing to a bigger version of what you're wanting in love. And you know, in the past, many marriages were based on I don't want to say convenience, that's not the right word. They were based on survival in some respects, what 2 people could bring to a situation that would help, nurture the land or nurture their financial security. And so as we have evolved as humans, we're choosing relationships with our friends, with our lovers, based on something much different, something that's on a more soul level, a place where we can be seen and create from the deepest parts of our heart. Because in the opportunity, the obstacle is other people's opinions or what your version of what other people are doing. If everybody's getting married right now and you're not, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It's about transcending to a bigger version of what you're looking for. Because in the angel's advice is the High Priestess and Serena. And Serena and Fiona come out together quite often for me. If we look at Fiona and we look at Serena, they are both harboring very relaxed and inviting energy. They're not forcing anything. They're not trying to make something happen. They're allowing spirit, source energy, your own vortex, for those of you that follow the laws of attraction, to bring it to you. It's already there, and now it awaits your invitation. And your invitation in its most pure and highest form to your heart, not what you think you can get, but rather what you really, really want. Because in the final position is a patience card. Now is a time to study and gather information, because you will soon synthesize that information and you will inspire others with that. And there's the butterfly. So let me offer it this way. Say you're a person of a certain age. I will actually be 61 next Saturday. I can't believe I'm that old already. And I've never been married. I've never had children. And yet I still believe that there is a person out there that's carved out for me. And maybe there's a bigger knowing that we have a contract to come into a more seasoned chapter in our lives, for whatever reason that may be. So if indeed you feel you've aged out to find romance and love, or to find new friends that think and have evolved as you have, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you have a spiritual highway running through you. So now it's time to open up to the idea that that's a viable road to travel, and spirit is going to be your co-creator. So where you cannot see how you'll create, this is where you turn it over to spirit and you thank them and you tell them what this dynamic looks like. This is the character of the people that I hang out with. This is the character of the person I share my life with. This is how we show up when we're not in agreement. That's what I want to say. So let's go back to the Kyle Gray card from the Ancestors and Angels deck. Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be open to love. Let yourself be loved. I'm sorry. So I really want to offer that, because if you look at her, she again is another relaxed position, just like Fiona and just like Serena. So here's a time to go to the deepest place. And remember, it's almost, when I look over here, if you can see, she has a rose that she's embracing. And I want to offer that every rose has a thorn. And so when you look for the beauty rather than the thorns, it makes it easier for spirit to draw in that energy towards you. And 2020 in general has been a year of breaking down old thought processes and old beliefs that do not serve us. And one of them is that love is only viable at a certain chapter in life. Fertility is only viable in a certain chapter of life. That's not necessarily true. Women are fertile in their 20s, their teens, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, and women in their 50s can have babies as well. So open your heart, for those of you that picked number 1. All right, I'm going to move on to angel reading number 2. I will put timestamps in so you can just click on those. All right. Angel reading number 2 for the week of October 12th through the 19th, 2020. Okay. For those of you that picked angel reading number 2, our first angel is Oceana. The second is Chantal. The third is Xana. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. While I'm shuffling the second deck, I'll just quickly remind you that the first position is the foundational position. It's the energy we're starting off on. The second position is the opportunity and or the obstacle. One coin, two sides. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. In the third position is the angel's advice for taking advantage of the opportunity or getting around the obstacle. And the final position is the energy with which we're sitting on at the end of the week. What's evolved? So joining Oceana is the abundance card, the cow. Joining Chantal is the queen. Joining Xana is the focus card. And joining Archangel Gabriel is the dragon. Okay. I pulled one card for each spread from my Kyle Gray deck, known as the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. And for those of you that picked card reading number 2, you got the hunter. Track down your desires. Track down your fears and desires. And I want to offer this, I'm going to go into greater detail about this, but this is the theme of what is going on for you this week. And Oceana is saying to take action, to lovingly assert yourself towards what it is that you want. And when I look at Oceana, she's swimming up through emotions. She's in some ways, she's swimming up through the light. But it can mar. If you look at the whale in the corner, you can see so many stars. And yet as she swims up through the light, some of those stars are not quite as clear. And what I want to say is there's a part of her that's taking action, trusting her emotions, and knowing that abundance, nourishment comes through asking and being open to receiving. We hear a lot about the law of attraction. It's quite, The Secret was based on the law of attraction. The teachings of Abraham through Abraham Hicks is based on the law of attraction. But the key to the law of attraction is the law of allowing. It's allowing something to come in, allowing there to be a bigger picture when you can't see what it is that you want in front of you, when you can't look in the rearview mirror of your life and figure out from behind how you'll get that up there. This is where you go into your emotional body. This is where you go into the waters of your own intuitions and your own musings and your own imaginations in order to tell spirit what it is that you want with no holes barred. Because part of this issue with the hunter is that there is something about your desires that is being blocked by your own fears. Because in the opportunity or the obstacle is Chantal, the angel of romance. And then we have the queen. And the queen is also about receiving. The feminine energy is a receptive energy. It's also a fertile energy. It's an energy of friendships. It's a feminine energy, feminine friendships, and feminine sexual characteristics, I guess I want to put it, because they're different than a male. So I really want to offer this for you that picked a card reading number 2, to be open to love, either through a reignited passion or through a new relationship that could potentially come in. But first you must sit in calm reception of that. Again, I want to go back to Oceana, and I want to go back to the cow and say, my opportunity is to tell spirit what it is that I want, and to know that I am protected emotionally and spiritually as I focus in on what the potentials are, not what I've previously experienced, not where I've been. There's a great song by Rascal Flatts called Bless the Broken Road, which basically echoes the idea that everybody that came before was not right in some way or another. They served a purpose, but was it to be what is the object of your desire? Maybe not. So if your fear is that you will not have your desire, it's time to look a little deeper into that. Does it mean I won't have it because I haven't experienced it? Or does it mean that it's ahead of me, and my job is to open up and allow it to come in? Because Archangel Gabriel is the angel of communications and arts, and there's the dragon. And she also talks about insecurities, which I'm going to put on the B side of this story, because I don't think she wants you to talk about your insecurities. I think she wants you to talk about your strengths, about what it is that you want to receive. We're going into a Mercury retrograde this week on the 13th. And Mercury is in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is a very deep planet. It represents many challenging aspects: death, rebirth. It represents plumbing, things that are unseen. It represents, in astrology, the body part it represents is the anus, because it's where our toxic energy comes out. So I want to offer it this way. Mercury is in Scorpio. It's going retrograde. It is really time to dig deep, to get down to the you-know-what poo-poo, and to really come clean with spirit, And it's not about not being fearful. It's about being fearless in telling them your desires rather than your fears, to focus in on that. Because I truly believe that this year of 2020 has created many people who thought they were fine by themselves or had plenty of distractions and love was not on the agenda, maybe shifting and wanting to experience more connectedness. I feel very strongly that as we're moving into the years ahead, that the experience we're having right now will make us want to tuck into those that are important to us and to experiences that are true to our heart. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 2, I really want to encourage you to be brave like the hunter and to track down your fears, but to focus on your desires. And as you do that, realize that it may be just a little murky as you swim your way to the surface through the light. And as you continue to thank God and the angels for your reception, and then you sit in confidence of that, knowing that love is something that is not elusive. It's just something that's so important to us that when we get near it, we sometimes don't behave authentically. We behave from a fear-based place. And that's why Xana is telling us that we're being protected, and to remind us where our focus needs to go. Needs to go where we want to go, where we want to be, and what we want to experience. That's where our power lies. All right, let's go on to reading number 3. All right. Give it a quick shuffle. Our first angel is Rochelle. The second is Opal. The third is Archangel Raphael. And the final is Isabella. As I'm shuffling the second deck, I'm just going to remind you that the first position is the foundational position. It's the energy with which we start this week, or what we're being told to start the week on. The second position, which is Opal for card reading number 3, is the opportunity and or the obstacle. One coin, 2 sides. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. The third is the angel's advice for taking advantage of the opportunity or getting around the obstacle. And the final is the energy with which the week will kind of head towards, the energy with which you'll start to evolve into. I call it the potential. So we have Rochelle being joined by the wind fairy. Opal is being joined by the communications card. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the perception card. And the final, Isabella, is being joined by the cat. So I pulled a Kyle Gray card. I use his Angels and Ancestors deck. It's a fairly new to me, but I've really resonated with it. And I pulled a card to go with this reading. And it's the Lady. And the Lady is to enjoy, what's it say? Enjoy growth and reap rewards. It's a very abundant energy. As you look at it, she kind of reminds me of Eve in the Garden of Eden. She's flanked by apples, which are known to be abundant. She actually is showing a star here. So in many ways, this is about reaching for the heavens and trusting that abundance is something like air. The human has been trained to feel in scarcity. When we're little, our parents inadvertently tell us these old cliches that perpetuate the story. Money doesn't grow on trees. So what we're seeing for the people who picked card reading number 3 this week is almost some sort of pull between your head and your heart. Rochelle says, as you honor and follow your heart, prosperity is coming to you. And the wind fairy is all about thoughts, analysis. It's about a little bit about the monkey mind. Now we're going into a Mercury retrograde on the 13th. So for those of you that picked card reading number 3, you may find yourself very much going between a place where your mind is telling you to do one thing and your heart is telling you to do another. And I want to say this because in your opportunity or your obstacle is Opal. And this is one of the cards of children, but this angel represents God taking care of your babies both in heaven and on earth. And there's the communications card. And I want to say it this way, because many of you may dream of having a baby, dream of starting a family. And you may have heard, you're of a certain age, or whatever, a challenging dynamic. I feel like this is time to really tuck in and start to think about children as little souls that don't just get born, but actually choose us as their shepherds for this lifetime. And I want to flip that also to those of you that don't have children, because those of you that come into this, I came into this planet not really wanting to have children per se, and I didn't. I'm going to be 61 years old on Saturday. So to me, my dreams, my life's path, my braveness in following that was like a child to me, and I had to care for it and tend to it. And there were times it became ill, and I had to be even more diligent in pushing past the monkey mind to follow my heart. And being of a certain age, there were a lot less opportunities to get out there unless you wrote a book and you had some in at Hay House. Now we have YouTube. So I want to offer those of you that picked card reading number 3 to really think about how you're communicating. And if you're purporting a childlike innocence in the idea that your dreams can come true, because we have the perception card in the angel's advice, and we have Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. And I think what he's trying to say here is that when you turn over your abundance and you think in an abundant way, and I want to offer it this way, it's not really thinking about how you're going to get the abundance. That's what trips us up. It's thinking about how it feels once I'm experiencing that. And oftentimes you'll find people who, when they feel abundant, they want to share their abundance. So allow yourself to muse on that, because yes, the timing is right for independent thought and healthy boundaries in relation to your mind versus your heart. The heart is in some ways, we talk a lot about it. There's songs that are written about it. We love everything. We love food. We love music. We love dance. We love each other. We love our animals. We love going to the beach. And so the word has become sort of diluted. And I feel like this is really an opportunity for those of you who picked card reading number 3 to really think about how you grow and reap your rewards, to really contemplate, are you stepping in a vibration that's honoring the guidance of your heart, or is your head telling you something different? And if indeed that's the case, then connecting with Archangel Raphael this week and communicating that you would like him to shift your perception to one of abundance, because you're ready. You're ready to move past any blocks or any illusions that are creating lack. Okay, let me just show you the lady one more time, because this is a very, very abundant card. And she's very relaxed. She's very, very cool. Okay, let's go on to reading number 4. Okay. A quick shuffle. All right, reading number 4. For those of you that picked reading number 4, and if you have not listened to any of the other video, I have pulled one Kyle Gray card from his Angels and Ancestors deck to add to each reading this week. So I'll bring that up at the end. And then I want to say that the first position, just to remind you, is the foundational position, the energy we sit on. The second is the opportunity and or the obstacle. The third is the angel's advice for taking advantage of the opportunity or getting around the obstacle. And the final position represents the potential outcome from the week, where the energies have transformed or evolved into. So we pulled, the first angel we pulled was Archangel Uriel in the foundational position. And I'm not surprised, because we have some very challenging astrological dynamics. Archangel Uriel helps us deal with anger, frustration, and unforgiveness. And joining Archangel Gabriel is the restriction card. Joining in our opportunity, our obstacle, we have the angel Celeste, and that's being joined by the letting go card. In the angel's advice, we have Isabella being joined by the focus card. And in the final position, we have Merlin joining Adriana. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, number 4. I'm sorry, number 4. Number 4. Archangel Uriel is in some ways representing a challenging energy within you that he's trying to bring wisdom to. And the only way that you'll find the wisdom is through, in some ways, a restriction. And to me, this restriction is really more about reflection. It's about kind of giving yourself an opportunity to really review your professional life. And I say this because in the opportunity obstacle, I have Celeste representing a move to a new home or a new place of employment, bringing in new energy. And I have the letting go card here. I personally can't let anything go. I need to make sense of it in order to put it in a place that becomes a tool. So this card, letting go, became the song from the first movie, Frozen, Let It Go. And so it's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. Because I believe that in many ways, part of what's going on for those of you that picked angel reading number 4 is that you're in some sort of fear that you can't move forward, that you can't actually, your dreams may not be viable, your ideas, where you want to move professionally. I'm really kind of going more with a professional dynamic than I am relationship-wise or even your place of residence, because I think that Celeste is asking you to really start to think about how, if indeed you were doing what you love, what would that be? Because Isabella in the angel's advice is saying it's time to focus on a new story. It's time to really, she says, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. And this is the focus. The new venture is, what do you want to do? A lot of people are making money on social media, and you don't have to be a Kardashian to do it. It's more about giving life to your desires, your career creativity is the way I want to put it. How do you want to create? How do you want to express yourself in the world? Because in the final position of Adriana saying she's leading you to the answers to your prayers, and there's Merlin. Merlin is about justice, balance, but it's also alchemy. And alchemy happens through pressure. And I feel like this last couple of weeks, Spirit has been putting in my mind the phrase, disruption is the doorway to your dreams. So let's say you picked reading number 4 and you're out of a job, or your job is looking a little sketchy and you may get laid off or furloughed, or the political dynamic in the world right now is affecting your job. It's, rather than getting angry, it's really time to use this Mercury retrograde, which is going to be going on from, I believe, October 13th/14th, depending where you are in the world, through November 3rd, 4th. And then we have the shadow period on either side. So we're in that now. So I want to encourage you, because you pulled for reading number 4, I pulled the white witch, which is really a card of innocence. It's a card of the female experience in its most naive and most youthful expression, where it hasn't been dinged by life, essentially. So I feel like in order to truly garnish the wisdom that this owl, this barn owl with its heart-shaped face, is to allow yourself to go into your heart, to imagine and muse about what would make you happy in a place that does not have to be you don't have to take action on it right now. I feel like it's more about almost like, you know, when you're going to make a cake, you don't just start baking. You have to go get all the ingredients, and then you put the ingredients out, and then you measure it. And so this is where I think the phase is. Through this Mercury retrograde, allow yourself to strategically muse about how it would feel, what your day would look like, what your morning would look like. When you wake up, would you hit the ground running, or would you actually like have to want to leave your day and maybe start your day at noon? I know this sounds silly, but these are what sends these messages up into the heavens, and opportunities start to roll. And if you think about it, there's the potential that opportunity has come before, but because you couldn't see the viability of the opportunity, you didn't step into it. And that's our part as souls here, is to be able to step into an opportunity that Spirit offers us. And it's important at this time to truly reflect if that manifestation is Spirit, or if it's something that's just coming in our grid to give us evidence that our manifestation and our co-creation is possible. So here it is. It's possible as you're led by Spirit and you're willing to be the light that leads you out of the darkness. All right, let's go on to reading number 5. Shuffle. And as I shuffle, I'm just going to tell you about the positions. I know I kind of say this every week, and it's for the people who are just joining, or if you've forgotten for some reason. So the first position represents the foundational energy. It's the platform with which we take our steps this week. The second position is the opportunity and or the obstacle. The third position is the angel's advice for getting around the obstacle or taking advantage of the opportunity. And the final position is the angel, or where we're going to be at the end of the week, where the energies have transformed, where they have evolved into. So we have the angel Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. And Isabella is being joined by the burden card. Adriana is being joined by the restriction card. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the frog. And Ariel's being joined by the mystery card. Okay. We also have a new moon this week on Friday. And this new moon is actually a challenging new moon. I haven't brought it up with any of the other readings, but as I go to reading number 5, it becomes important. New moons are about new beginnings. They're about, it's where the moon and the sun come together like father and mother for creation. So I want to offer it this way. We have the burden card with Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right. I want to put it this way. I feel like the timing is right for you within your heart, but the timing is not right within the dynamics of the week. For those of you that are in the United States, you know we're heading into a presidential election. We have this new moon in a challenging aspect. And there's some, I'm not going to go into the astrology of it, but there's so many squares and oppositions. Those are very tense, irritable energies, because God is in charge of. Adriana is leading you towards the answers to your prayers, and then we have the restriction card. And I want to say it this way. For those of you that picked reading number 5, there's a little something about what you want to co-create with Spirit that needs to be revisited, because there's a fear attached to it, or there is a wobbly belief in its manifestation, because Archangel Raphael in the Angel's Advice is offering a healing to your emotional body, a cleaning of your mind, and a freeing. And when I say freeing, it's usually because I've reconciled a situation where I can turn it into a tool. It's never because I could just let it sail away. I'm not that person. God bless you if you are, because you're an angel. Because in the final position, for those of you that picked reading number 5, I have Ariel saying that new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and others. And then there's the choice card. And I want to offer it this way, because it kind of seems counterintuitive. Yes, the timing is right, but there's restriction. You know, there's messages from the angels, but it's about choice. And I feel like what this is more about, there's a phrase I use often called the be, do, have. What is my being energy? What is my attitude, my disposition? What is my belief about the situation as I take my actions? there, it feels to me like there's an emotional baggage that's blocking, and you're not aware of it. You're not aware of it because the decision you want to make feels like it's a smart decision, but it may be a crab crawl where you're going from one situation and it's not really an upward move, it's more of a lateral move. Because I picked one angels and ancestors card for each spread from the Kyle Gray deck. So this is an additional card, and it's the Traveler, move in new directions. And the thing that the Traveler stands out to me is her light. She's not carrying any luggage. She's got one small bag. She seems rather content and reflective and in choosing her direction. So for those of you that picked reading number 5, as you're contemplating your decisions this week and your movement, where you want to go, I feel like it's time to take a second look at it to see if indeed there is a hidden fear attached to it. And I'm going to give you a real quick example. Years ago, I created a card deck myself. And while the deck itself, I believe, is very viable and has a lot of good things that can come of it, it hasn't really produced anything, because my tagline while I was creating it was, I need a product when I get old, so if I can't work, I still have money coming in. If you look at what I was saying to myself, it was based on fear. It was based on something that would be challenging for me rather than exciting for me. So before you actually take time to move forward, look at where the burden is. It's time to look at the burden so we can release the burden as you realize that the restriction is so you can realize that God and the angels are moving you forward. And this will help facilitate the cleaning of your emotional baggage and help you realize that your choices are most viable and most potent when you base them on your connection to spirit and what you know from your faith body versus your head body. Okay, that's it for this week. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and astrology learner, because I like to infuse astrology into my readings. So if you'd like to get a reading from me, my information is in the description below. And please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please share the videos. And I'll be back next Monday with another Pick Your Angel card reading for next week. Have a great week, everybody, and may God and the angels watch over you.